Welcome to True Crime Stories, your go-to channel for in-depth analysis and retellings of some of the most fascinating and gripping true crime cases in history. Our channel is dedicated to exploring the darkest corners of the human mind and the criminal justice system, examining the motives, methods, and outcomes of some of the most notorious crimes ever committed. With expert analysis and detailed retellings, we bring you closer to the stories that have captivated audiences for years. From the infamous Manson family murders to the gritty details of a secret serial killer, we aim to deliver accurate and thought-provoking content that will leave you thinking long after the video ends. So, whether you're a true crime fanatic or simply interested in exploring the depths of the human psyche, our channel has something for you. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button and turn on notifications so you don't miss any of our latest videos. Story 1. In the summer of 1969, Hollywood actress Sharon Tate was 8 months pregnant with her first child and married to film director Roman Polanski. On August 9, she and 4 others were brutally murdered in her home by members of the infamous Manson family cult. The murders shocked the world and are still talked about today. The Manson family was a cult led by Charles Manson, a failed musician and ex-convict who believed in an apocalyptic race war he called Helter Skelter. He convinced his followers, mostly young women, to commit acts of violence and murder in order to incite the war. On the night of the murders, Manson sent 4 of his followers to Tate's home. They broke in and brutally killed Tate, along with Jay Sebring, Wojciech Frykowski, and Abigail Folger, who were visiting her. Tate's friend, Stephen Parent, was also killed outside the house. The murderers wrote "Pig" on the front door in Tate's blood and left. The Manson family was eventually caught and convicted of the murders, but Manson himself never directly participated in the killings. He was found guilty of orchestrating the murders and was sentenced to life in prison. Sharon Tate's death and the Manson family murders remain one of the most infamous and disturbing crimes in American history. After the murders, the Manson family went on to commit several other killings, including the murder of businessman Leno LaBianca and his wife Rosemary. The group's bizarre behavior during their trial, including carving X's into their foreheads and singing in court, only added to their notoriety. The trial itself was a media spectacle, with reporters and spectators flocking to the courthouse every day to catch a glimpse of Manson and his followers. The prosecution presented a strong case against the group, including testimony from several of Manson's former followers who had turned against him. Manson, meanwhile, acted as his own attorney and made rambling, nonsensical statements in court. In the end, Manson and several of his followers were convicted of murder and sentenced to life in prison. Manson died in prison in 2017 at the age of 83. The murders had a profound impact on Hollywood and American culture. Many people felt that the killings marked the end of the hippie counterculture of the 1960s and the beginning of a darker, more violent era. Story 2. Detective Sarah Jones had been investigating the string of murders that had been happening in her city for months. All the victims had been young women, with no apparent connection to each other. The killer had left no evidence at any of the crime scenes, and Sarah was getting frustrated. One day, Sarah received a package in the mail. Inside was a letter from the killer, taunting her and revealing details about the murders that only the killer could know. Sarah was both horrified and fascinated. She knew that this letter was her best chance of catching the killer. Sarah started corresponding with the killer through the letters, trying to get more information out of him. She also enlisted the help of a profiler, who was able to determine that the killer was likely a white male in his late 20s. As Sarah got deeper into the case, she began to suspect that someone in her own department might be the killer. She couldn't believe that someone she worked with every day could be capable of such atrocities, but the evidence was pointing that way. One night, Sarah was working late when she heard a noise in the hallway. She cautiously opened the door, only to come face to face with the killer. It was her colleague, Detective John Smith. He had been the one sending the letters and committing the murders all along. Sarah was able to subdue John and arrest him. She couldn't believe that someone she had worked with for years had been capable of such horrific crimes. But she also felt a sense of satisfaction that she had caught the killer and brought him to justice. As Sarah delved deeper into the case, she discovered that John had been struggling with his own demons for years. He had a history of abuse and violence, and the pressure of his job had only made things worse. Sarah realized that John had been using his position as a detective to cover up his crimes and avoid suspicion. After John's arrest, Sarah struggled to come to terms with what had happened. She felt betrayed by someone she had trusted and admired, and she couldn't shake the feeling that she should have seen the signs earlier. But Sarah also felt a sense of pride in her work. She had caught the killer and brought him to justice, despite the obstacles she had faced. She knew that the families of the victims would never get their loved ones back, but she hoped that they would find some closure in John's arrest and conviction. The case had a profound effect on Sarah, both personally and professionally. She became more vigilant about the people she worked with, and she never forgot the lessons she had learned about the dangers of letting personal demons go unchecked. Thanks for watching this video from True Crime Stories. Remember to cast your vote, and if you enjoyed this content, please don't forget to hit the like button and leave a comment below to let us know your thoughts. Also, if you haven't already, make sure to hit the subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss our latest videos. We are dedicated to bringing you the most gripping and thought-provoking true crime content, and we appreciate your support. Thanks again for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.